Hi everybody. So I'm not really going to talk about what is listed in the program, sorry. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about some sort of thoughts I've been having listening to people's talks today and also in the lead up to the workshop. I'm giving 3 talks, and so I'm trying to develop a bit of a narrative across the 3 talks rather than sort of making them just in isolation. And one of the things that from the discussion we had in the lovely restaurant across the road yesterday with the Eduardos and a few other people is that there's lots of different data sets that are flying around and lots of different phenomena that are being observed and things like that. But I think it's quite important that we focus in on what are the key questions that we're actually trying to answer through this workshop. And my view are, we need to understand it's quite simple in some respects. I'm quite a simple person, and so I like to try and think about things using as few words as possible. So we obviously want to know what depredates toothfish, and obviously whales are a problem, but there's other things. When, where and how often, so what's the pattern of depredation? Is it changing through time? That sort of thing. And then obviously, does it matter for the efficiency of the fishery? So is the fishery being impacted economically because the toothfish or the sablefish are being stolen? And then does it matter for the predators? Are the predators doing better or worse as a result of this interaction with the fishery? And then finally, does it matter for stock status? And in some respects, those questions will interact, but they may be quite separate. So you may actually conclude at the end of your 20-year sea swap project that it does matter for fisheries efficiency, but it doesn't actually matter for stock status because they're fish that the sperm whales might have eaten already, for example. So I think it helps me to think about, what are the key questions we're actually trying to answer with these data sets. If you look at what depredates toothfish, there's actually lots of other things apart from whales that depredate toothfish. So this is a photograph from the Amundsen Sea off the Antarctic chieftain that was fishing down there last year. That's a colossal squid, and they're actually quite a common, well, not a common, they're not uncommon, as an animal that will come up on hooks, having eaten started chewing on a toothfish. You can see the expression on the toothfish's face. It's not enjoying it. But it's also seen quite regularly that fish will come up with large bites taken out of them, which can be attributed to colossal squid or possibly even giant squid. So these animals are down there and they're stealing toothfish as well and reducing the efficiency of the fishery by damaging fish. But they're probably eating them anyway. They would be down there hunting those toothfish anyway. Another important one, which doesn't get talked about a lot, but every toothfish fisher that I've ever spoken to understands that these are a problem. So sea lice. There's some places where sea lice cause a lot of damage to toothfish. And I haven't seen anyone analyse that data and show if there's any patterns, but I'm sure it would be interesting if it did. Something I remember Janet mentioning is that they have a problem with what they call scavengers, but they're predators as well. They're damaging your catch. We don't have this problem in the Australian fisheries, but things like lampreys can damage your catch. And there's no doubt patterns in the way that that's happening that may be useful in helping us understand what the impact of depredation is on the fishery. Poor beagle sharks are something we see particularly at Macquarie Island. So they're like a swimming chainsaw, very, very vicious and voracious predator, and they'll take toothfish at the surface, but they're probably not naturally taking a toothfish. They're not swimming down that deep and, eating toothfish down at 2,000 metres, we don't think. Another one which I was happy to hear mentioned is these guys. This is a little short video, or is it just a picture? Oh no, it's just a picture of a sleeper shark. This is a really small one. They're actually really dangerous because they're so large, and longliners aren't designed to bring them aboard, but every now and then you get a little one. But they can make do a lot of damage in terms of tangling the gear up, and again they're probably down there naturally eating toothfish. and when they find them attached to a long line, they'll eat them. This is the video. I'm hoping there's not sound on this, because if there is, there's an awful lot of swearing. So, sorry about this. So this is a video from Macquarie Island. It's all the fishing that occurs at night at Macquarie Island to avoid seabird bycatch. You can see there is a toothfish, and that's a fur seal. Yeah! Yep. So they're also interacting with the fishery and you know, slowing things down. Orcas, obviously, you know, we've heard quite a bit about them. We're quite lucky so far at Herd Island and Macquarie Island. We haven't seen a lot of trouble with orcas, and that's something I'd like to talk to some of the other people here this week about as to why we don't, because that seems quite odd. I mean, but things could be worse. This is in the Brazilian tuna fishery, and they actually catch orcas on the hooks, and that would cause all sorts of nightmares. You imagine trying to play with an orca off the side of your boat when you're fishing for toothfish. This is from a paper, the Journal of Marine Biological Association of the UK, where they were looking at the same issue in pelagic longline fisheries, and when they were out there observing it, they actually caught this young female orca on a hook. The hook straightened and the orca got away. And then sperm whales, so these are some of the photographs we're just starting to get from our observers on board the vessels. But as Reece said, they're often quite a long way away from the boats, and so getting photographs of flukes and that sort of thing to be able to get good identifications is proving difficult. And then there's these guys, which again I'm quite curious to understand why, given that there is an almost 100% overlap between the distribution of elephant seals, southern elephant seals and toothfish fisheries, Herd Island is the only place that reports mortalities of southern elephant seals. So we've killed 32 southern elephant seals in the course of fishing since 2003. And I'll show you some footage of what they actually do around the lines, which was pretty amazing. That's in another talk, but these guys are out there as well, and possibly causing quite a bit of cryptic depredation in other toothfish fisheries. So that's it for now, but the take-home message from this, hopefully, is that we focus on what are the questions we're actually trying to answer. They may be different for all the different fisheries because of the different sort of suites of species that you've got problems with. But I think if we try and concentrate on that, then we'll be able to come out with some more generic principles about how we're going to address the problems across the different fisheries. Thank you.